Welcome back to the Roundtable. I'm AwestruckVox, and we finally got our first real trailer of The Incredibles 2, thanks to the good old Olympics. Naturally, as we're all pumped for this film, what better way to celebrate than to run through it, break it down, and make some plot predictions? Let's get it. So, as a lot of people who grew up with the first film demanded, this film seems to immediately pick up after the end of the first film, with the family going toe-to-toe with the Underminer. If anyone's been on social media for a while, you've seen posts like, "We're still waiting," with a picture of the Incredible family and the Underminer. Despite the fact there was an entire video game where we did see them face off, The Incredibles Rise of the Underminer, released in 2005. I guess the mixed reviews and apparent lack of public awareness didn't satisfy Brad Bird or the big boys at Pixar. Now right here we can see the Underminer with a vacuum-like device suck up money and gold from what we can assume is the bank surrounded by explosions that level its neighboring buildings. Probably a sinister, over-the-top way for the Underminer to break into the bank's safe. This confuses me because at the end of the first film, the Underminer declared a war on peace and happiness. Yet here, you're just robbing a bank, dude. Although I guess he does need the funds to declare war. Mr. Incredible turns to an alarming control panel, which is lightly controlling the Underminer's drill. Judging by the radar with a locked-on incision point, we see one of the monitors is counting down to a breach. What we're likely watching is Bob attempting to shut down the drill altogether before any more damage is done. I'm a tad disappointed that after all these years of waiting to see the family kick the Underminer's butt as a team, Dash and Violet are left in the dust to watch after Jack. It makes sense, especially since they're also unaware of his powers, but man, that stings just a little. The giant moving contraption Bob soars over after catapulting off of his wife is the said drill, or the drill is a part of a much larger machine. Bob confronting the Underminer, remarking, "We meet again," could allude to the Underminer being a part of Mr. Incredible's rogue gallery in the good old days. Or this is just a fast-paced remark part of one big opening sequence, where the Underminer wards him off, and a minute later, Bob pops back up. Kinda like, "Thought you seen the last of me?" More importantly, Bob being vacuumed by the Underminer with the same device he uses to steal the money is probably how Bob ends up inside the drill and stops the breach in the first place. Now, something I want to shed more light on is the collateral damage and buildings being completely leveled. While this is likely the Underminer's doing, the media could spin this around and pin it on the Incredibles as a family affair, scaring off the public from superheroes. Kinda like the first movie. Oh boy. Nevertheless, that idea leads into the next part of this trailer. Helen, aka Elastigirl, reinforces that superheroes are illegal, but Dash claims fighting crime defines who he is. Only the bad tracking reveals someone else on TV said it, a reference to the abundance of superhero shows Dash probably watches. In our world and modern times, the likely nod is to the CW's Arrowverse. Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl. I think it'd be fitting if Dash was an avid viewer of The Flash. I want to make a note of their surroundings because if you compare it to the dinner scenes in the first film, this is definitely not their house. Which makes sense as their home was probably wrecked after Syndra's defeat in the original film. Violet protecting the family with her force field. This appears to be some sort of check-in motel rather than a home, judging by the TV, boxes, and the Chinese takeout. Frozone has seemingly been approached by a tycoon, or in simpler terms, someone who's loaded with lots of cash and has a respectable position of power in the industry. They want to talk about quote-unquote hero stuff, but judging by the enticing tone, it's a positive. Hero stuff equating to bringing supers back out of hiding, and that's exactly the case. This character is Winston Dever, voiced by Bob Odenkirk. Character bios that dropped at the end of January revealed Mr. Dever leads a world-class telecommunications company. The airplane actually has its name, DevTech. Alongside his genius sister, Evelyn. Ultra-wealthy, savvy, and suave, Winston goes big in everything he does, including his infatuation with supers. He has been a supporter of supers returning. All he needs is a hero, or three, to help him change public perception and bring them back into the sunlight. Frozone is obviously a good candidate. He's passionate about being a superhero. We'd be hearing him to ask about where his supersuit is again. And if we want to get real, he's a person of color. DevTech's about to look mighty progressive. Winston doesn't want Bob though, instead favoring Helen, which, looking progressive aside, is also a logical step to take because of Bob's powers. He can come off as way too destructive with his super strength. Not exactly the most comforting power to have when easing supers back into the mainstream once more. Now, I have no doubts either Winston or Evelyn are the true antagonists of this film, but if I had to guess going off of Evelyn's bio, she's the true villain. It reads, the brilliant brainchild behind her brother Winston's telecommunications company, knows her way around tech. She loves tinkering with tech, and has never met a problem she can't solve. Yeah. Throw out any jabs you have about Pixar trying to push a feminist agenda, because frankly, I don't want to hear it. It honestly gives me vibes of Miss Bellum and the mayor from Powerpuff Girls. I think the film's narrative is going to try to lead us to believe Winston is the true villain, only for it to turn out he actually does love superheroes. He wants the best for them. He's not your typical evil, greedy businessman. It'll be Evelyn who has ulterior motives and turns everyone on their heads. Being proficient with tech, I think she'll give our heroes a run for their money once her true colors shine. I'm not even saying she wants to get rid of superheroes or anything like that. I think her master plan actually does involve heroes being in the spotlight and having a good perception, but so she can employ them to do something she believes is right for the wrong reasons. I think Evelyn being techie sets up an interesting conflict and challenge for Edna, and will bring Edna to utmost relevance in the film, giving us our beloved character without it feeling too forced. Not too much to say here, just a humorous scene of Bob being incredibly frustrated assisting Dash with math homework. Although I will point out, this seems to be their new digs. And I, wait for it, dig it. Judging by the windows, it's a multi-story house, this being a second or third floor. And judging by the 3 criminal pieces of paper on the table, I think they've been working at this for a while. Again, not much to say other than Jack Jack is adorable, and while it's fun seeing Mr. Incredible as a stay-at-home dad now, I hope it doesn't get dragged out and repetitive in the actual movie. We can infer Helen's going to be not just working during the day, but even spending the night away from the family on occasion, judging by her conversation with Bob over the phone. We also have another look at the battle with the Underminer in the beginning of the film, displaying more collateral damage as the railing beneath this train crumbles. In the same cut, we see Bob and Helen on the drill, followed by a shot of Helen landing on said drill, and that's actually before the train's off rails. Helen sticks a superhero landing, and she's still in that pose in the previous shot. Bob's stressing about his duties as a stay-at-home father. We can see he's sleep deprived, and it's all finally starting to get to him as he laments the Frozone. If he fails as a father, it might cause Helen to fail as a hero, if she gets too caught up in her family. Judging by Frozone's reaction, this conversation was probably sparked by Frozone expressing concern of Bob overworking himself as a father, thinking he needs to relax and give himself a day to rest. But no, there's no rest. Gotta be the world's greatest dad no matter the cost. I feel like this is going to take place during the second act of the film, especially due to the next part. Jack Jack showcases his powers. Teleportation, as seen in the Jack Jack attack short, and the return of his little monster form he unleashed against Syndrome. While Frozone is surprised, it's obvious this has already been known to Bob, who likely finds out about Jack Jack's powers during the first act of the film. This is the film's middle point. Tensions are at a high for everyone. Jack Jack wants cookies. By the sluggish, slow movements of Mr. Incredible as he wards Jack Jack off of him, it's clear he could pass out at any given moment. Wouldn't surprise me if that's what happens next. Next up, it seems as if Bob, exhausted and getting fed up, turns to Edna for some help on maintaining Jack Jack's powers. Edna lectures that parenting done properly is a heroic act, but reiterates the done properly part. Helen was able to get a grasp on that. Bob wasn't. The shoe will be on the other foot. Jack Jack sneezing has the exact effect as it did in the teaser, unleashing an abundance of powers, in the exact same sequence. In the teaser, it seemed to be taken from the actual movie, but these are 2 different scenes. Either it's a running gag, or the setting was altered for whatever reason, as is the case with most films and different trailers, first teaser to final product sort of thing. Time will tell. Now when Bob lets his head fall onto the countertop, he's holding a phone. This is more than likely the same scene Helen expresses her gratitude for Bob taking the helm of parenting. The setup seems to be he puts on the front that everything is fine. She's thrilled to hear that, but as soon as she hangs up, he lets his stress truly show. Hang in there, Bobby boy. You will get through this. And that about wraps up our breakdown of this trailer. Did we miss anything? Are you guys just as thrilled as we are? Yeah, the premise seems to be a role reversal of the first film, but I think it'll be different enough to stand on its own. And be just as good, if not better. Didn't get too much on our assumable antagonist, but that's good. Don't show us everything you got just yet. Comment your thoughts down below, or tweet directly to us at Roundtable Vids or at me at AwestruckVox. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at Roundtable Vids. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like, and if you're new here, subscribe. Hit that bell to join our notification squad and never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day. AwestruckVox signing out.